High-end makeup versus dupe slash affordable makeup. Which side is which? I think a lot of these will be great alternative, affordable options in comparison to the high end, but let's get in. We have quite a bit of products to put on my face. Starting with the brows, let's see if these are great options for each other. The high-end eyebrow gel is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, her new brow freeze. But what I like about this product is it locks in my brow hairs all day long, and it's flake free. $26 versus $10.99. The new Maybelline, their Super Lock Brow Glue. It's also like a gel and a wax combined. I've worn these and I like both of them, but in my opinion, I think the Super Lock by Maybelline is a little bit better to work with and easier to work with. It's not as watery. High-end eyebrow pencil versus an affordable drugstore option. This high-end is the Kosas, their Nano Ultra Defining Detailing Pencil, and then the affordable option or the dupe is the CoverGirl, the Clean Fresh Brow 1mm Nano Pencil. I have same shade medium brown, but I'm currently really obsessed with the CoverGirl, and it's $8.99 or $11.99 depending which retail you purchase it from. I'm excited to see if these are great options for one another. Overall, in my opinion, very similar. I love the super tiny nano brow pencil style, and the colors are almost an identical match. Just like the one thing I mentioned, the CoverGirl does have a little bit more pigment payoff. Do you love the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Foundation, but you want to try something a little bit more affordable? $52 versus $10. The $10 is the Catrice, their HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. Application-wise, Estee Lauder wins. Formula, the foundation spreads a little bit further. It has a little bit more of that almost serum feeling and texture. It spreads very far, blends very easy, no issues blending. Finish-wise, HD by Catrice has definitely more of that true matte finish. It's a little softer on the skin. It's not as glowy. You can see the foundation a tad more on the skin. Like it's kind of sitting on top of my skin as of right now in comparison to the Estee Lauder. The Estee Lauder, it's a little more of that softer matte, a little more natural on the skin, and it kind of blends more into the skin, if that makes sense. It's not sitting on top of my skin, enhancing any kind of peach fuzz or texture that I have going on. But overall, from far away, it looks like I have the same foundation on both sides. $40 versus $12.99. Another one of my favorite cream bronzers from the drugstore. This is the Milani, their Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. The high end, we have the NARS, the Laguna Creamy Bronzer. One of my favorites, so stunning. I've never put 1-to-1, but I've seen online that these are great options for one to another. Comparing formulas, NARS is a lot more of that velvety cream to powder almost texture. It's very pigmented, a little bit goes a long way. Milani, on the other hand, the formula, it's a little more balmy, a little more slippy. Both bronzers are stunning, very easy to work with. NARS is a lot more pigmented, and Milani, it's a little more sheer in comparison, but very buildable. I think either bronzer, you can't go wrong, but if you want something a lot more affordable, Milani is one of the best at the drugstore in my opinion. But let's talk about these two concealers, high-end versus drugstore. This is a $30 concealer, and I saw online that this drugstore option right here is a great affordable alternative. This is the JOA, their Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer. There's still nothing quite like the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer in my opinion, in terms of formula and the way it blends into the skin and how it looks under my eyes. It's chef's kiss. A little bit goes a long way in terms of coverage and color and pigment payoff. The JOA concealer, on the other hand, I feel like you need a lot more concealer to compare or build up that coverage. The drugstore dupe side for the concealer, the coverage and the color is a little bit off in comparison to the high end. But I'm really curious how these are going to wear 1-to-1. $39 liquid blush versus $11.99 liquid blush. We have the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint in shade number 53 versus the new Maybelline the Sun Kissed blush in shade Blazing Blush number 5. Colors are very similar, but but I think it comes down to the finish of each blush. The Armani liquid blushes, the finish is very natural. It looks like you have a very soft glow from within. There's no shimmer. It's just a very natural looking blush on the cheeks. In comparison to the Maybelline Sunkissed blush, this has shimmer in the blush. And I'm noticing where that shimmer hits, it's not as evenly blended in comparison to the Armani because the Armani has no shimmers. There's a little bit more pigment payoff with the Maybelline blushes. But again, if you go very heavy-handed, the shimmer can exaggerate some of the texture on the cheeks. It's not reflecting the texture on my skin. I heard that this might be a great dupe for the Thrive Cosmetics Lash Extension Mascara. $26 for the Thrive versus $7 for the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. But keep in mind, the Thrive Cosmetics offers 30% more formula. Applicators are almost identical from one-to-one Thrive versus e.l.f. The formula on the e.l.f., it's not as pigmented, even though I have the deepest or the darkest shade available in comparison to the Thrive. The Thrive has a little bit more color payoff, and the formula, it's a little thicker. So a little bit goes a long way with the first coat in comparison to the e.l.f. The e.l.f., I had to add one more extra coat to give the similar or get a similar effect from the Thrive Cosmetics side. I feel like you honestly can't even tell which side is which at this point. They're very similar. Both sides are lengthened. They look very nice and black, very deep. But the one thing is, with my stubborn lashes, naturally they're very straight, so it's very hard to keep a curl with this type of a formula when it's very heavy. It provides a good enough curl, but it definitely drops my lashes throughout the day. If you love the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude Lip Liner, these are $24 US. Now this is a great affordable option. These are the new Maybelline Lifter Lip Liners, $9.99. Again, depends from which retailer you purchase it from. For the Natasha Denona Lip Liner, I'm using number NP2 Ilona, and then Maybelline Lifter Lip Liner, number 7 Big Lift. Natasha Denona, the formula, it's a little bit more velvety, a little bit more silky in comparison to the Maybelline. The Maybelline, there's a little bit more skipping, but very, very creamy. Again, not the exact color match, but when you do a kiss test on the back of your hand, there's no transfer on either side. I am going to top off my lips using a gloss, just the same gloss on both sides. I'm using the Maybelline Lifter Gloss in shade number 21, which is Gummy Bear. I'm honestly shocked looking one-to-one how close both sides look one to another. It is incredible. Obviously, when you start looking closer, like some of the shades look a little bit different, like they're not the exact shade dupes, but just the finish and the way it looks on the skin is honestly mind-blowing right now. The rest of the review, which is the full day wear test. And let's see how the makeup wears one-to-one, how it compares, how it looks, and so forth. I just had a bagel and I wanted to show the lips. The Natasha Denona is not budging at all. Maybelline, there's a little bit of budging and a little bit of lip liner has gone missing right here. So I am going to reapply. Natasha Denona is a clear winner when it comes to a bagel.
When it comes to a bagel?
Yes, when you eat a bagel, a very messy bagel, Natasha Denona will win. I know that was a confusing explanation, but I think overall the rest of the face looks amazing. It looks very similar. Came outside because it's hot outside. Hi! We're swimming outside because it's so hot. This is what the face looks like. You can see, all that texture, everything is going on, but we're looking good. Got out of the pool, but this is what the face looks like. I'm using the front-facing camera, and I think I'm looking pretty good. I don't feel really oily. I'm looking a little glowy, but I'm sitting right in front of the window. I think I want to touch up my forehead a little bit. Maybe add a little bit of the Laura Mercier powder. This is just the Ultra Blur setting powder. I'm just gonna do the forehead. Like I said, even though I don't have to, I'm just gonna tone down the shine just a tad. I switched the camera to the back-facing camera to see better quality. I'm noticing the foundation, I like it better on the Catrice side. There's a little bit more texture happening on the Estee Lauder side. Look at this, even around the nose. Estee Lauder, Catrice. Not as much on the Catrice side, like settling. Eyebrows, honestly, there's no difference. I can't see a difference at all. Eyebrows both look phenomenal. The concealer side, okay-ish in terms of like comparison, but Natasha Denona still wins in my book. Like there's not that many comparisons out there. So I touched up the forehead a little bit and just the nose, but not on the sides. Yes, babies. They're watching me right now. They're my directors. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I am very impressed with the side-by-side. I think the differences are pretty minute in comparison to how they're wearing with certain products. But I think overall it just probably depends on the type of finish you want, the different, like the amount of shade range that they offer, the different tones and so forth, you know, for like the foundation, concealer. But I'm very, very impressed with the high-end versus the dupe / affordable alternative makeup options. I did my nails because they were pretty gross. I had to reshape them and I just did a new coat. Over 12 hours and I'm gonna end the review here. One thing that I learned today myself, these alternatives, affordable alternative makeup is phenomenal and it's performing just as good, and some of them are performing even better than the high-end makeup. In my personal opinion, I don't think any of these drugstore makeup are actual dupes of the high-end makeup. When I think of dupes, I think of pretty much identical or a replica of the applicator or the packaging. The formula is almost spot on. I think all of these are great alternatives, not per se dupes. They're not replicas of the high end. So in my opinion, I think we should look at these products from this video. Definitely the drugstore eyebrow products. Can you tell a difference which one is which? You can't, and you're saving so much money. Now moving on to the concealer and the blush. In my opinion, definitely check out the high-end version instead of the affordable options. The high-end version, Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer and their Armani Cheek Tints. I personally love both bronzers. I like the NARS bronzer and I like the Milani bronzer, but both perform so well. The only thing I'll say about the Milani bronzers, they can pull a little bit warmer than the NARS bronzers. NARS is a little more neutral, so I think it just depends on what kind of shade or undertone you're looking for. This Catrice foundation is really, really something else. At first, I didn't like it. I liked it better on the Estee Lauder side because it kind of melted in a little more seamless application versus the Catrice. I had to provide a little more TLC towards the foundation, like blendability. But the more it wears and the more it sits on my skin, it looks a little more natural the way it's wearing down. So I'm very impressed with this Catrice foundation. The only thing, shade range, very minimal in comparison to the Estee Lauder. Both mascaras, there's barely any transfer. The only kind of transfer or wear I'm seeing is the flaking or flaking on both sides. I'm just not a big fan of either mascara for my lashes. Like I said, I have very stubborn lashes. If your lashes hold a curl easily, or your lashes are already long and you just want that beautiful pigment on your lashes, I think you'll like either mascara. Thrive, again, has a lot more product, and also the pigment, it's a lot more intense right off the bat in comparison to the e.l.f. I think if you like tubing formulas, or if you've never tried a tubing formula and you really want to try the Thrive, try the e.l.f. or the Milani from the drugstore. See if you like it first. See if you like that type of formulation, the tubing formula. If you do, and then you really want to try the Thrive, I don't think you'll go wrong either way. But I'm gonna end it here. I'm very happy about most of these drugstore makeup alternative / dupes, if you want to call it that. Thank you for watching, spending time with me, and I'll see you next one very soon.